taking the time. And I know what a high quality lineup we've got. So it's a treat actually for those of you who did make it, as far as I'm concerned. So if everybody's comfortable with that, this is how we will proceed and hope some others turn up in due course. Yeah? I mean, quite frankly, we've got the main players in this area of IUCN's work, so I really do think it might be worth carrying on. So I didn't introduce myself. My name is James Smart. Some of my job titles are up there. Global Director, Biodiversity Conservation Group. I'm also Director of the Global Species Programme, and I'm also SSC Focal Point for IUCN. And I'm just going to make a few introductory remarks. And after that, we can take maybe a round of introductions. For those of you who've seen the presentations on the draft IUCN program, you've seen these kinds of slides. And this is one I'm going to be showing in a few days' time. We intend to deliver these 4 knowledge products, all of which involve the collection of area-based information on biodiversity. And we're actually looking to integrate them eventually in a central data repository as well. So the 4 are the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, the World Database on Protected Areas, the new Red List of Ecosystems, and key biodiversity areas. So we're going to talk about more about the detail of all these as we go through. But one point I want to make about IUCN Knowledge Products is that they all engage scientists. So in particular in relation to these 4, and there are other IUCN knowledge products that we will also mention as we go through. They all engage scientists, in particular for the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species and the WDBA right now. They engage members of the Species Survival Commission and members of the World Commission on Protected Areas. They all involve long negotiations to develop these internationally accepted standards. They all involve an element of peer review. And the governance of each product ensures their independence. So there's no way I could go onto the red list and change the category of the polar bear, for instance. I just couldn't do it. And not even Craig could do it. So and it's worth saying that because it's amazing how many people think you can. And your records, you can just do what you want. So you actually have to make it clear that the reason that they're trusted is because you have this sort of solid backing and actually sometimes quite complicated governance behind them. Now, I also want to mention the other products. Now, the Global Invasive Species Database is being actively integrated into the IUCN Red List right now. So we're packaging that in as part of the prioritization of the knowledge products from the IUCN under the Red List. So forgive me, you guys, but you're going to have a chance to talk more about the invasive species database. As has been mentioned several times already in the plenary, IUCN is looking to prioritize now and has named just 6 knowledge products to move on with. So me keeping the invasive species database as part of the Red List is a good way to keep that in the package, quite frankly. So we will focus on the 4 I've mentioned. 2 others which I haven't mentioned include the new Natural Resource Governance Framework, which is all about the right kind of decision making for people in nature. And if we have time, we can talk about that a little bit. Ed, you know quite a lot about that, but we can talk about that. And also a new human dependency on nature product. But they've they've begun their work, but they're not as well developed as the 4 we're going to be focusing on today. So I'm just going to run through how this will work today, and then we can do some introductions. Now, the first thing is an apology. Simon Stewart's going to come this afternoon, but he's running, he's had to go to a contact group, so he couldn't make it, but he's going to make a few general remarks when he does get here. Plenaries is a rather grand term, isn't it, given the situation we're in, but I am going to throw up a sort of vision for the integration of the knowledge products. Israel, which we discussed actually at IUCN headquarters just a couple of weeks ago, and you can look at that. And then we'll come back to it at the end to see if it's sort of reflecting what we all think it should reflect. Then we're going to hear from all the individual knowledge product experts and managers, which I think will be very interesting. Now, this is the vision. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So these are all the knowledge products that I've mentioned. So there you see we have the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, the Global Invasive Species Database is there too now, the IUCN Red List of Ecosystems, the key biodiversity areas, the World Database on Protected Areas, including Protected Planet, and showing how those two relate to each other. And then we will have an actual demonstration of how the IUCN Red List and the WDPA have been already, to some extent, integrated, which I think is empowering because it makes you realise the possibilities for the other products. And then we're going to have an interactive session, which we can adapt a little bit, given who's in the room, I think. It's about the user needs and thinking about what we would do differently if we were doing it again, and how perhaps we can learn from each other in relation to perhaps the new people who are developing new products, avoiding some of the mistakes that we may have made in the past. So then we're going to have a break, and we're going to split into groups and report back. We're going to look at how we can meet the needs after the group session, and then we'll come back to that vision. Have next steps, some action points, we can get to that, some closing remarks. And I quite like this little phrase, what we do with our later determines our future, you know, and you'll get the last bit. So actually, I'm just going to go back to that one. Let's do some introductions, because there's so few of us, I think it's worth it and get a sense of who's in the room. So let's start with Diego.
Hello. Hello, I'm Diego Coffey. I work in the Global Species Program in Cambridge. I'm leading now with another Coutelot the development of the key biodiversity areas knowledge product. And I will work from 1st of October on the integration of all knowledge products and their links to the achieved targets.
Hi everybody, my name is Nick Holmes. I work for Island Conservation, where I'm the Director of Science. I'm based in Santa Cruz in California. I'm here because we've developed the Threatened Island Biodiversity Database. So we're interested in these flagship products, but from the focus of islands.
Hello everyone, I am Michael Julia. I also work at the Species Program, Global Species Program based in Cambridge. I'm the biodiversity systems manager there, and my task is really to manage architecture, make sure that we're developing the right tools around the registering process mainly, but also work closely with Jane on the knowledge projects as well. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Shama Pakat. I'm the Program Officer for the Invasive Species Specialist Group, and I also manage information services, including the Global Invasive Species Database. I'm based at the University of Auckland in New Zealand.
Hello, I'm Chiara Genovesi, the chair of the Invasive Species Specialist Group. I will report a little bit on the work we are doing to interlink our database with the Red List. Unfortunately, we have another event at 3:30 at the Species Pavilion, again with on the same issue, so I will have to leave you around 3 o'clock. Sorry for that.
I'm Stephen Woodley. I always say I'm the embodiment of one program. I'm paid by Parks Canada, a member. I left my job there to work with the Protected Areas program with Trevor, but I'm also a WCPA member and a co-chair with Tom Brooks of the Joint Task Force on Biodiversity and Protected Areas, and I'm a member of SSC as well.
Hello, John Rodriguez. I'm the SSC Deputy Chair and thematic group leader of the CEM thematic group of the Ecosystem Red List. I'm based in Venezuela, the Venezuelan Institute for Scientific Investigation, and work with Norita, which is an NGO IUCN member for about 10 years.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Richard Jenkins. I'm the manager of the Global Species Program in the UK, based in Cambridge, the home of the Red List of Threatened Species. I'm also the chair of the SSC Chameleon Specialist Group. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Peyton Pujol, Botanic Gardens here in the UK. I'm a member of the Red List Plant Subcommittee and I'm also interested in spatial data, particularly for plants.
Hello,
Hello, I'm Caroline Pollock. I work at the IUCN Red List unit at the home of the Red List in Cambridge. I mainly work on helping to manage the Red List database and the website itself, and mainly managing the assessment data going into the database. I'm here today because there's some of IUCN's other knowledge products that I really need to know a little bit more about how the linkages can be strengthened between the two.
Hi everyone, I'm Craig Hilton-Taylor. I'm also a member of the Global Species Program based in Cambridge, where I actually head the Red List unit, so I oversee the whole process.
I'm Colleen Corrigan, and also housed in Cambridge at the home of the Protected Areas Program. I've got to leave a bit early as well today, but hopefully we'll be around long enough to assist Trevor in any way we can. Shall we go this way and back? I just don't want to miss one.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Trevor Sandwood. I'm based in Gand in Switzerland as head of the director of the Global Protected Areas Program and a member of the steering committee that works together with UNEP WCMC on the World Database on Protected Areas. So we can talk about the details later.
I'm Tom Brooks. I head the science programs at NatureServe and contribute towards IUCN's knowledge products in the red list of threatened species, the red list of ecosystems, and the key biodiversity areas.
Thanks, Tom. Welcome to our newcomers. We do understand it takes a bit of an effort to get down here, so thanks for coming. We've got so few people, we're asking everybody to just say hello.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ed Barrow, and I head up IUCN's Global Ecosystem Management Program. The Ecosystem Management Program is the focal program for Commission Ecosystem Management, and is also focal for the red list of ecosystems within the Secretariat. I'm not based in Lond. I'm based in Nairobi, a few miles away.
Good afternoon, my name is Annie Lukács. I'm working for the Environmental Law Program at the Environmental Law Centers in Bonn, and I'm one of the ones in charge for ECOLEX, the portal on national and international environmental law, and I'm here to listen to you and learn and see whether there is a potential in the future to link our data to yours.
Great, thanks. So you pass it over there.
I think you're going to pass it on to you.
I'm Pauline Gerard. I work for the International Institute for Sustainable Development. I'm an online learning and training coordinator for IISD, and I'm very interested in, I'm here to learn and try and think about how we can kind of coordinate better and understand different types of knowledge platforms and products that are being developed.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Isais. I'm from the Zoological Society of London. I'm a PhD student in third year. And I'm interested as well in just learning things here and how to contribute some of my assessments and how extreme climatic events affect ecosystem and species distribution, particularly cyclones and droughts. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Franklin Rojas from Venezuela, Robita, and I stay here for later know about your workshop.
Thanks very much. So, good. Just for the latecomers, there's not so many of us, so we can have more of an informal discussion, I think, today. I'm sure people will be popping in and out all afternoon, really. I hope everybody saw the program, which is on the website. Did people see that? I mean, okay. We planned essentially a series of presentations to explain all the products, and then we'll have more of a discussion about how we can move on, thinking about, it's very much trying to emphasize what the user wants from all this data, from the point of view of an individual product, and also in the integrated products, and we'll have some thinking on how we might actually go about that. But now I'm throwing up a draft vision for the integrated knowledge products. Now, this was drafted by Paul Engberg-Pedersen, our Deputy Director General, who you heard present the draft program a couple of days ago. It's not particularly elegant, I don't think, and I don't think we should try and get it in a sort of elegant form, but it's to try and describe what integration is trying to do. And you may have heard him say that he actually has a development background himself. So actually he's a very useful person to talk to, because he always challenges someone like me who will speak in biodiversity speak too much, to say, you have to talk in language that the donors can understand, the users can understand, normal people can understand, not just biodiversity scientists. So that's where he's come from. And we discussed it as a session in IUCN headquarters a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't end up by challenging it. Of course, when the boss writes your vision, maybe we don't want to challenge it, but we could have a look at this and see what we think, and then come back to it at the end of the afternoon. So take a little time to read it, and then if anyone's got any comments or questions on it, perhaps they could ask. Is getting at is, and perhaps I should stress this at the beginning, is we're really focusing on the integration of this afternoon of the 5 knowledge products really. We include the global invasive species database, spatial data in those products. But we, as you will see when you see the live demonstration of the red list integrated with the WEPA, you can pull in other data sets of all kinds. And you can tick a box to pull such and such a data set in, turn it off, and that's kind of like step 2 of the vision in a sense. We can put in other people's data and ask certain questions that can then be answered. So it's a very compelling vision, I think, for IUCN, and I think I have to say that only IUCN can do this. It has the credibility, the means, the sort of governance mechanisms that could allow this to happen. So it is quite a compelling idea. So any comments on this vision?
A couple of things strike me as.
Sorry.
A couple of things strike me as odd. One is the wording of the rights of nature to conserve biodiversity, as if nature had a right to conserve biodiversity that we acknowledge or something. Seems odd. And the other is, I don't think that the databases that we're talking about will ever be comprehensive. The databases will ever be comprehensive. In making decisions for private or public stakeholders, hopefully we'll be providing necessary information, but it will never be all the information that's required, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, so just a couple of thoughts on that. Interestingly, there's a resolution, a motion I should say, up for discussion called the Rights of Nature. I don't know if any of you have read it. It's quite interesting. So it's a phrase that's creeping in to our language, and I'm sure it will be debated. I agree that wording is a little bit confusing. I think what he's Danish, so he's not a native English speaker. I mean, we can fiddle with the language, but I think he's basically making the point that nature has rights as well, which is something that I think IUCN very much wants to stress. We value nature in a way. We can put a value on it if that's useful, a useful tool for conservation, a whole sort of economics of ecosystems and biodiversity, that whole team approach, but also their intangible values of nature. And we recognise both, and that's stressed in our draft programme. So I think, yes, we could fiddle around with the language on that. And then on the comprehensive point, yeah, I kind of agree. It's not going to tell you everything. It's kind of a starting point for then decisions that get taken at country level or local level. So, yeah. Alan?
On the purpose, I think it's quite clear that it relates to people of use. But one thing that's missing is a kind of longer term view, thinking about things like the ancient science and preservation of biodiversity into the future, so you know, because we don't know how we're going to use it in the future.
Okay.
So I think it kind of some sense of allowing us to monitor biodiversity targets or something like that.
Okay, actually that's really helpful because we've already got an agreed objective of the IUCN members and of the emerging key biodiversity areas and perhaps some of the other knowledge products. So we really need to take those and make sure that they're kind of consistent with this. So that's a good point. Colleen, you had your hand up.
Yes, I was just wondering, and maybe your point just now about the knowledge products perhaps having these different objectives. I don't know if overall then it would be useful to include something that's indicative of participatory processes so that it's a bit more interactive.
Okay, great, thanks. Alan.
One other thing, I can understand why the emphasis is on the area base, but there is a species element to it. And for an overarching view, I don't think it would be hard to say for area and species.
I think we'd have to say area and biodiversity rates because IUCN is concerned with all three components of biodiversity and we have knowledge products